Hi everyone, and welcome to another little series of the Tales of Jesus as we look at some of his parables, what he taught us and what he is saying to us. And this week I want to look at a tiny little parable that's known as the parable of the tax collector and the Pharisee. And this is how it goes. It's from Luke chapter 18 and verse 9. And Jesus is speaking. This is what he says. To some who were confident of their own righteousness and looked down on everyone else, Jesus told this parable. Two men went up to the temple to pray, one a Pharisee and the other a tax collector. The Pharisee stood by himself and prayed, God, I thank you that I'm not like other people, robbers, evildoers, adulterers, or even like this tax collector. I fast twice a week and give a tenth of all I get. But the tax collector stood at a distance. He would not even look up to heaven, but beat his breast and said, God, have mercy on me, a sinner. I tell you that this man, rather than the other, went home justified before God. For all those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. Well, the words of Jesus, and a wonderful little story he tells. And he begins with this idea of those who are righteous, confident of their own righteousness, where we get the idea of being self-righteous. Self-righteousness is a very unattractive thing even today. We think of it in terms of one-upmanship, holier than thou, I am better than the other man. It's a very unappetizing quality. And this idea of self-righteousness actually comes in large measure from this parable. But what does it mean to be righteous? Well, we often think of being righteous as meaning we keep the rules, we keep the law, we have an ethic that means we do what is right. And that is certainly a big part of being righteous. But in the Bible, there's another idea of being righteous that goes alongside it. And that is that we are given righteousness by God. Or to put it another way, we are made all right by God. He declares that we are all right. And this idea brings us into the whole idea we'll explore later of how do we get right with God? Is it by doing things or is it a gift from him? But self-righteousness is very unattractive. And Jesus was obviously talking to some people in his time who felt they were self-righteous. And these self-righteous people, as it says in the parable, or Jesus' words rather, looked down on everyone else. And I think we get a taste of this today in what's becoming called the cancel culture. I have my ethics and I know I am right, and therefore I cancel the other guy out. The other fellow is taken out of the equation. I look down on them. And this is what Jesus is talking about in this parable, the looking down. Two men go up to pray, and one looks down on the other. This is the beginning of the parable. And in the Pharisees' minds, the other guy is cancelled out. A little bit of background here. When Jesus says they went to pray, he does not mean they went into their room to have a nice little quiet time. It's rather more like we would say he went to church to the service. That is to say, they went to pray with others, and they went in the great temple in Jerusalem, which was very public. Well, this is the background to the parable. How it works out and how we are made right with God is what we're going to explore in the next few sessions.